I found out about CCL over 13 years ago because of a wonderful mentor and role model to me that's here in the front row, Paul Thompson. And I would love for anyone else to raise your hand if you also found out about CCL by way of Paul. You can look around the room, Paul, see your impact. All right, now keep your hands raised. Now, raise your hand if anyone that is raising their hand is the reason why you found out about CCL. Excellent. And let's keep going. If somebody else raises their hand, then you raise your hand. Keep looking around the room. We'll see how much kind of Paul's original kind of origin story. This is 6 degrees of Kevin Paul Bacon. All right, excellent. So we're not going to get 100%, but first off, it shows the power of one person that is able to have this conversation and then ripple that out to the community. And secondly, it shows the power that all of us might not even realize in our own lives we're having actively right now. And so that's really the heart of what we're trying to get to today. I'm going to be debuting, well, I'll get to the slide in a little bit, but just one other quick activity just so we're awake. Raise your hand if you are a human. Great, well, we're going to be talking, all right, we're going to be talking about how to talk like a human then today. So this might apply to you then. I'm glad to hear that this is going to be relevant for you. So a little bit about myself. My name is Brett Cease. I use he, him pronouns. I'm out of Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah. And I have the lucky privilege of being CCL Vice President of Programs. I've been involved with the organization for over 13 years, served a large variety of roles. Still am very active with our local Two Harbors Duluth chapter, who I know is going to be tuning in and watching the recordings later. But I just want to say, by way of that each of you and the identities that you're bringing to this room today, whatever that role is, are playing an essential role within CCL, and we are so grateful for it. And I know all of you also have your own reasons for why you care about climate, and that's really what we're going to be unpacking in our hour together, as well as the whole conference, obviously, and how we've already even connected. But for me, one of those reasons, at least, is these two cuties. This is a photo actually taken just yesterday before I left. These are my two sons, Quest and Shonix, and we'll talk about this too today. The most powerful way that all of us can unlock kind of that inner compassion and sense of connection with other people as we bring in climate conversations is in sharing that concern for future generations, for the future, for protecting what we love for those that come after us. And so we're going to show you some of the data that Potential Energy and others have done to really demonstrate that. But each of you has smiling, beaming faces or people that you love and care about that are obviously able to serve that important role of building that human connection in your conversations. So if I've done my job well, outside of making you raise your hand a couple of times in the last couple of minutes, in the next hour together, I'm hoping that we can walk away with the following 3 learning goals. I want to make sure to first highlight some of the resources that CCL has been using in our campaigns. I want to make sure that you're actually going to practice a little bit today, even if you've had 1 or 2 climate conversations in the past. Let's stay active today and put this into practice. And then I want to make sure to encourage all of us to be empowered and go forth and have more of these and realize the ripple effect that it has, even if we might not be there to witness every time that a conversation leads to another person taking further action and making a difference. So the agenda is going to be really straightforward. We'll talk a little bit more about background. I'll weave in kind of this whole head, heart, hands model, being able to really talk about how all 3 of those, this is something from one of our favorite climate communicators, Dr. Catherine Hayhoe, a shorthand to remember if you're in a pinch, like, oh, what was the 3 H's, or, how do I have a conversation? We'll talk through that. We'll also talk a little bit more about potential energy. Just as a quick, I guess, show of hands again, how many people before today's session have either been a part of CCL's potential energy collaboration, watched a potential energy webinar before themselves, a few of us? Okay, great. So for a lot of us, this will be new, and this is really fascinating, cutting edge research that we'll be able to highlight. And then depending on the time frame, I don't think we'll have it, but just in case we run short, I've also built in another connection to our electrification campaign, which was also built on conversations. And so we'll see if we get to that. But I want to build in a lot of time for Q&A too. All right, sounds good. All right, feeling that lunch? Yeah. All right, good. All right, so background. This is something called the spiral of climate silence. Silence, not science. I say that all the time. So, and basically it's a premise that really reinforces why talking about it matters. And as a PS, all of these slides will be available, so you don't have to take too many notes today. Afterwards, we'll share, where you can find them. But basically, this cycle is what we are trying to interrupt. So what happens right now in our world, and again, this is already getting better, but it's something that's well documented within social science, that climate change is getting worse. We know this. And we also know this, in our lives, we often don't hear a lot of talk about climate change. Maybe some of us do, but at least for the general American public, that isn't really at the top of the list of topics that they're engaging on a week-to-week basis. So as a result of that, people notice those cues. Oh, well, it must not be that important if people aren't spending the time talking about it. So I must not be able to, have a lot of concern about it. So that leads then to their own self-silencing, which means that, again, it's not rising to the top of the list of people's focus. It's not rising to the top of the list of people's election priorities. And so, again, that delay or that lack of action continues to accelerate that cycle. So that's what we're trying to interrupt today. It's very intuitive. And again, I've already mentioned this amazing individual, Dr. Catherine Hayhoe. We have been so blessed to have her for the last 10 years really on our advisory board. But I think she sums it up well when she says, no one does anything unless they feel it's important. And if no one's talking about it, how important can it be? So that's why conversations matter, right? So we, for the last 5 months now, have debuted something that we've had, a climate conversations campaign. We've got amazing materials for those interested that haven't checked them out after this. There's tabling materials from trifolds that you can have on your displays, to handouts, to stickers, to social media campaigns. I won't go into all of that unless you want to talk afterwards. We have multiple trainings. We've had potential energy speakers on our monthly calls at the June conference, on our trainings with CCU on Thursday nights, and reached thousands of our volunteers. But basically, what's that led to is that as of this morning, we've had 46,721 conversations since the beginning of April as CCL volunteers. Let's pause there and give a big round of applause. That's a lot of conversations. Thank you. Raise your hand if you logged one of those conversations as part of that tally. Excellent. I love it. We've had participants around all 50 states. We've had even more impressions on social media accounts, and we have gotten a lot of feedback. So that's what I'm going to be debuting very quickly here. From the people that have taken these conversations, they've been prompted to give feedback on what went well or what kind of things were barriers for them. And so let's look at that collated data. So where we start is kind of where people are having climate conversations. And this is again based on CCL's data. We noticed that over 60% of conversations have happened at Earth Day or outreach events, but you can also see the whole distribution outside of that includes anything from appointments, being part of shared activities like we're about to do this afternoon, restaurants, coffee shops, at home, chance encounters in your community, you name it. The whole span of opportunities is your oyster. You do not have to have conversations only at a tabling event, right? We're learning about how and where we can also have and bring up these conversations in any place you might find yourself. One of the other things that we found in terms of shared activities, that these conversations not only happen on a chance to go for a walk or a hike together, but before or after fellowship, regardless of your faith background, going on a drive together, as parents of teenagers can attest to. It's a great opportunity, obviously, to have a variety of conversations, including talking about climate, just being able to stare off together in the road and not having to kind of have anything else interrupt you. And even the fourth most common activity back in April was during the eclipse viewing. If people remember that, just given obviously how many people were gathering around there. And then this is also really helpful. So basically, I think what has helped CCL volunteers with the potential energy and the Science Moms guidance is that it's given them a new way of looking at maybe something that already feels like old hat to you, because you've been talking about climate change for decades, you name it. But it's given them new resources. So I'm just pulling a few testimonials out in case you haven't checked out Potential Energy today. Some of our volunteer feedback is this book has been helpful. It's new to me, but it makes sense. Others should read it. I've not been able to talk to my granddaughter before reading this as openly about climate. Talk like a human language has made my encounters with students that I've interacted with that are less familiar with climate action feel more comfortable, you name it. So let's think through what this actually looks like. And then this is kind of, again, a prep for our first activity. So listen in, and then in about 5 minutes, we'll have us be able to start huddling up in partners or groups of 3, depending on where you're sitting. So again, I am, for this first part, only actually going to pull from the first of these 2 resources, so Science Moms. And then after this activity, we're going to go through the potential interview side of things, and then have another application conversation there. So with this first one, basically, we want to start with the heart. And if you can't remember anything else from the presentation, just know that it's okay to start from where you're at, where you're feeling, what you are bringing into that conversation, being your open, honest self. Here's a great simple prompt. I've been worried about how climate change will affect our kids. What about you? Just really being able to open it up and have that kind of level of vulnerability, open the conversation. Science Moms in their guide reinforces this by saying, have you ever noticed that opening a conversation with facts doesn't seem to get you very far? That's because facts aren't personal. Feelings, on the other hand, make things vulnerable, and they make things relevant, and they make things urgent. So think about opening with the heart, and that'll get you off on the right foot. All right, next you can bring in your head, right? So this is okay now, you've had the dialogue, you have it back and forth, really being able to listen and lean into your CCL skills as a motivational interview, somebody that is knows the importance of not talking first or only, but really being able to center the other person's experience and draw out their thinking. Once you feel like you've built that rapport and that connection, bringing in facts and data works, right? It's helpful, or at least for you, what's really one crystallized fact or piece of data that you feel like helps highlight why you're concerned. This person's demonstrating one fact that works for them. Right now, the world is heating up 50 times faster than it has at any other time in history. And so really being able to talk about, hey, climate change may have always been happening, but right now it's the rate of change that's worrying me. Or that's really what I'm noticing right now in my community. And so what Science Mom says to reinforce this is that people have questions, and that's when having a few of the simple facts about what's happening might come in handy, especially if that naturally comes up in your dialogue, such as highlighting over 99% of scientists agree on the basic facts about climate change, or that we know those 5 simple facts that it's here, it's man-made, we're running out of time to fix it. However you find your most effective way to really bring in that scientific perspective, feel free to use it in a simple but direct way. And then lastly, so we talked about heart, leading with the heart, and bringing in your head. You always want to make sure your hands are involved too, and that's because you don't want to leave people hanging with this sense of doom or dread without knowing how to get engaged or take action. Very intuitive. I know I'm preaching the choir on this, but thinking about hands, simple phrase, something like, if we act now, we can protect the planet for future generations. However it works for you, Science Moms reinforces this by saying, remember, it's not about leaving people feeling hopeless. Any conversation about climate change should leave people feeling empowered to do something. So what I'd like to do is one little review here again: heart, head, hands, connect on a personal level with an opening question, bring in concerns or impacts through fact and data, and then talk about solutions or your work with CCL or other groups you're a part of. Let's think about this in terms of your own life, rather than just this abstract discussion of what it might look like. And so, and this again is just a little helpful reminder, this is all part of one of our handouts. Be yourself, listen more than you talk, and make sure to engage with empathetic or compassionate curiosity. So I have 3 discussion questions that I'm going to leave up here on the slide so you don't have to remember them after I say them. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. And so after I pose these questions, I'd love for you to kind of turn to a partner, or if it's easier again for a group of 3, engage in dialogue around this, because these are really trying to elicit for you what your heart, head, and hands might be. So first question, what opening question or statement feels most natural for you to start with that comes from your heart? Where do you think you might lead in that opening statement? And make sure to ask each other that. Number 2, how do you like to bring in impacts that you're witnessing, or data or facts that highlight your concern about climate change? What is it for you that you found effective or really is most compelling? And then number 3, how do you like to talk about solutions? What ways do you bring in your advocacy with CCL or your other roles as a climate advocate? You name it. let's start unpacking that together. You don't have to demo a conversation as much as just start thinking about each of these three elements. And again, I'll put 5 minutes on the clock and you can turn to your partner and start exploring each of these questions before we move on. All right, 1 minute. 1 minute warning. 1 minute. Thank you, everyone. All right, so before moving on, I would love to just open it up, since we are a group of fellow volunteers learning from each other. Was there anything that you heard from your partners that would feel fun to share for the larger group? Any reflections or things just to shout out? Please.
One thing that I'm getting is this brother here, but it's true. A lot of people think we're in a pretty severe situation. You know, particularly this year, and I know anybody that's up here from northern Iowa knows that's true, but I think people feel there's an additional severity to the climate crisis.
Yes, especially the last couple of weeks. Thank you for calling that in. What else? Yeah, I see your hand, Chris.
I was talking to my partner about, being concerned about the climate for my grandkids and my coming great grandchild. But what about me? Something younger than I am. Of course, we need the planet to live on too.
Well put. Yeah, I think these are great. Who else? Yeah. No.
Different perspective, probably because of my professional training at the time that I did. And I feel like before we start to kind of feel the effect of everything in humans, I feel like plants themselves feel it for us. And as food is a very important thing that we are all concerned about. So agriculture becomes almost impossible if it's affected by climate. So, and we all will not be severe with non-air
Amen. Yes, and not only the human, or bringing in the human impact of that kind of climate change impacts on food and plants and how it can affect all of us and what we depend on. I think I said, yeah, go for it.
Well, if you're talking to someone, it's great to find out what's important to them. You know, as a skier, it's easy for me to talk about winter and the disappearance of snow. But I want to know what's important to them. And often that is a nature-based conversation. What season do you like? What do you do? Have you seen any changes in the way you do these things? Like that.
I love that, Paul. And I do feel like, we should be even a bit more overt about that. That question should come right at the top, right? That heart issue is not only sharing what matters to you, but engaging your partner to find out what matters to them. And as good conversational partners, knowing from the get-go, right from the jump, what is bringing them into that conversation can then inform that connection throughout the whole rest of the conversation. So thank you for naming that. Anything else? Yes, please.
We were talking and got towards a little bit of the financial hardships for a lot of the everyday person. People that are living paycheck to paycheck that are seeing insurance go up and just cost of living go up along with this, and how the immediacy of those needs affects what is soon to be a much larger climate need.
Yeah, making kind of this global, more abstract feeling concept personal, local, immediate in your own life. And that's actually a perfect transition, thank you, because that's exactly kind of what this next part that we're going to be talking about. We just did the Q&A discussion there. Potential energies findings also highlight, okay? And so we, again, in developing CCL's resources, have worked closely with potential energy and science moms And let me tell you a little bit more by way of who Potential Energy is, and then we'll jump into kind of how we can highlight in front and center a lot of that local personal impacts in our own lives, rather than making it feel like this abstract concept that's far off or isn't immediately viscerally felt. So Potential Energy is a coalition of many marketers that come from a variety of corporate, nonprofit, government backgrounds that have now kind of converged on being able to test out different messaging around climate change. And so I apologize a little bit for the smaller text here, but I'll again have these slides available and I'll read out some of these ones. They've done billions of ads. They've held hundreds of focus groups. They've done 4 global studies sampling over 50,000 volunteers in 12 countries. They've spent over 2,500 hours engaging everyday citizens like you and I with, asking questions about their concerns and hopes for the future, their thoughts on climate and clean energy. Their ads online have delivered 2 billion plus impressions with live media as well. So not just on social, but actually, kind of more traditional media. So they've got a big background, and we should listen to them because they're serious and they know how to do research. That's really the big takeaway. And one of the big things in all of this research that they found is really the core thesis that many people lack foundational knowledge about climate change. And what is foundational knowledge? Again, you can debate whatever that is, but in their minds, what they're really trying to highlight is that people aren't connecting the dots readily often. Again, not many or any of us in this room, but the larger general American public, to realizing that our heat trapping gas emissions are leading to a warming planet, right? So when asked about what individuals are doing to make a difference on climate change, half of them are saying, the biggest impact that they're having personally is recycling. Or just all of these other little stats that we can throw out there are just highlighting that this isn't something that we're talking about very often, and making those dots connect in our own lives. So let's help think through how we can do that better. And what they're also highlighting is that a lot of the scientific terminology that is being used that has complete validity and needs to be said, for the sake of being a clear communicator, isn't connecting with the public. There's a communications problem here. So let's kind of look at this back and forth of what they're trying to say here. Greenhouse gases are causing anthropogenic climate change. And then the person hearing that says, sounds bad, I think, but what am I going to do about it? Well, we have to act now to stay under 1.5 degrees. Why is everyone freaking out over a couple of degrees? The sea levels are rising. Well, maybe, but that won't take 100 years. That'll take over 100 years and it won't affect me or my property. Well, we must decarbonize to get to net zero by 2040. And that obviously can yield, well, what does that mean? So let's think about some alternative ways to weave in talking about climate change into our own conversations. And I'll have this slide up at the end. And this is just a little preview of the next section of what you can now start thinking about in how you and your conversation partner might unpack or explore one of these in your dialogue. They have 8 principles that they've highlighted help us all talk more like a human. So the first one we're going to unpack is, what does it mean when we say talk like a human? Number 2, really making sure not to exaggerate. Number 3, being mindful of being nonpartisan. I think that one really for CCLers is pretty natural, but for a lot of larger public, it might be a bit more challenging. Number 4, keeping it local. Number 5, focusing on human impacts, not abstract concepts. Number 6, focusing on pollution, the cause of what's driving climate change, not climate change itself. Number 7, focusing on the here and now today. And number 8, focusing on the messengers making that impact. That's the most important things. All right, so let's think through each of these briefly. And then again, we'll have a discussion with your partner on how you might start thinking through utilizing any of these in your own conversations. So when we say talk like a human, what does that mean? It really comes down to human just being non-jargony. Don't, in your everyday conversations, assume that somebody that you're talking to has the same vocabulary, the same background knowledge, the same level of tracking climate news that you do. And this is really hard for me. I'm very guilty of it. I'm not up here saying I've nailed this. This is something that I constantly am catching myself with too. But as we become aware of it in our own speaking patterns, we can bring in, again, a lot of these slides, you'll see the theme is, here's what we normally do, here's what we should be trying to strive for instead of that. So rather than finding in your conversations using terms like anthropogenic, even net zero or 1.5 degrees, these in the climate community are givens. We know how important these are, but for the general public, they don't resonate as well, and they don't yield a sense of connection as effectively as words like pollution, overheating, extreme weather, costing people too much. You can see that showing up right there from the jump. Hottest year on record, clear, simple, distilled language. All right, so that's what talk like a human means. Think about simple, parsed words that can connect with your audience. Number two, one thing that we also want to be really precise about is not exaggerating. The climate crisis, the climate emergency, climate change is extreme and challenging enough as it is. And so what the data is telling us, according to Potential Energy's research, is to make sure that people understand the urgency of the moment that we're in, while also not feeling like you have to yell fire in a crowded theater. And that is an incredibly difficult needle to thread. It's not going to be something that any of us get right all the time. And it isn't as if we have to avoid saying climate crisis, climate emergency at any point, but especially as you open a conversation, as you're assessing where people are at, if you're engaging with somebody that's not already in that far end of the Yale 6 Americas, for those that are familiar with kind of the full spectrum of where the American public is with their climate change concern. If you're not talking to somebody that's already alarmed, the testing that Potential Energy has highlighted is that these words tend to harden people in their own reaction for wherever they're already at, and it doesn't bring them into the conversation as much. So you can bring in facts, you can bring in data that is compelling to you, but you don't have to make it even more dramatic sounding than it already is, because climate change is a huge challenge. So just speak from the heart on that, and that's really the big takeaway. Number three, being nonpartisan. So this is all about thinking about ways that we can use language that resonates across the aisle. We know that these side of these discussions are terms that for many of us at least feel very natural, right? Saving the planet. How many times have I used that in talking about why I care about, being active on climate change? Even the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle, sacrifice, green. All of these frames can work with certain audiences, but if you don't know who you're talking to and you want to broaden the conversation, what Potential Energy recommends is using frames that have a broader appeal, talking about protecting your community, conservation, preservation, clean energy. These are also terms that all of us can feel very comfortable with, and try them on for size. See how they work in your conversations to really engage and bring more people in. Keep it local. So this is basically highlighting the importance of not having this be something that feels far away or abstract and not something that's already showing up in our communities. It's the classic critique of having the polar bear show up in your slide when you're talking about the urgency of having somewhere else be impacted because of sea level ice loss, or you name it. How can you, in your conversations or in your presentations, you name it, weave in impacts in your state, that your town, that your family are already seeing? They're out there, and I know that a lot of examples are here in this room. So that's actually one thing that I would love in your discussions to bring back to our larger team after we have more discussion, because here we are in the Northwind region. We're experts in how we're seeing climate change in our community already. And so I definitely look forward to hearing more about that. And I know several of us were, just as one example, looking around the room, several of us were at a fundraiser that also Paul will probably talk about at the end here, earlier this week for another climate change nonprofit, where the mayor of St. Paul was talking about, as a young boy, he grew up, he didn't really perceive environmentalists to be his thing, because it was something that you had to have a lot of money to eat the right food, to drive the right car, to have the right lifestyle. And he said it really hit home for him when he saw the extreme weather events in St. Paul basically lead to a rock slide that wiped out a street the day before a St. Patrick's Day parade. Would have been walking down that same street and had dozens to hundreds of people be impacted had those rocks not shifted a day earlier. And so just thinking about in your lives, what are those events, what are those moments that you're seeing kind of be amplified due to our intensifying weather patterns that you can weave into your stories. Human concepts instead of abstract concepts. So again, weaving in inclusive language, like people like you and I are being affected. Bringing in kitchen table issues, again, I just so appreciate people thinking about how you can highlight high air conditioning bills, days your kids can't play outside due to all of the wildfire smoke. That was another thing that Mayor of St. Paul was highlighting, just how many more air quality index events now we're looking at. When as Minnesotans 10, 20, 30 years ago, Iowans, Nebraskans, Kansans, you name it, that wasn't something that we were monitoring as much. And the other key thing is just using this concept, again, this is, I guess, a little bit technical language, but the loss aversion frame. So connecting our behavior, if we don't stop polluting, to the threat that it can have on what we care about. And as humans, that is one of the most motivating factors we all know and live our lives for. What can we do to hedge against the risks for those things that we love or treasure most? Being able to connect those dots is key. One of the things that I'll just slow down here in that humans not concepts frame is in their research, they have like a 300-page document, if you ever want to check this out afterwards, that tests out all of these frames across all the countries that they were in, across all of the different scenarios of people they talk to. And the thing that moves people the most, more than talking about protecting health by reducing water pollution, air pollution, extreme weather protection, is again, bringing in your own personal story, the own people that you care about, protecting the planet for future generations. This highlights that basically, the question is, in your opinion, what is the most important benefit of taking action on climate change? And this moves the needle 12 times more than any of the other ones in people being indicating that they're actually more motivated to get engaged, or they're more motivated to find out more. And so weaving in that concern for future generations is key. Fight pollution, not climate change. And so the key thing here is oftentimes I use this all the time, and Potential Energy helped call this into my own awareness. I use phrases like, I'm here to fight climate change, right? That's a very kind of natural, intuitive way to talk about it. Well, we're actually not fighting climate change. We're fighting against the sources of what's driving climate change. We're fighting the polluters who cause it. We're looking at this from an accountability value. How can we weave in kind of focusing our message and what we're trying to do to actually help whoever we're talking to connect the dots? If you're fighting climate change, that feels very big. How do I fight climate change? It's everywhere. It's global. How can I, little old me, kind of know how to make that connection? But if you can make that connection with highlighting how we can change our energy sources, how we can have policies that make things more locally, oriented around clean energy development, you name it, that's going to be much more effective than having that kind of direct tie to this large global concept. Two more, and then we'll again jump into discussions on it when I show up in your own conversations with this information. And this is another helpful one. In the climate community, we have been moved for decades by setting long-term targets. It's what's helped us plan. It's what's helped us be strategic. It has been successful. It has led us to being able to set markers and then move towards them as a goal. It doesn't work as effectively in our own conversations. So how can you, again, we're talking about the lens of in your own one-on-one dialogues or small groups, find ways to talk about things in a more immediate time frame. So focusing on today means something like trying, if we reduce pollution 10% every year, we can make a better world for our kids. Talking about how that shows up in your own world today, rather than a further off feeling benchmark. And then lastly, and this is very reassuring, in that I oftentimes wonder, does the public care about science anymore? Does it seem like this is something that people are tracking? Again, this is a well-tested question that they've asked around the world, around political perspectives, around age, around class, you name it. And what they say is that a message delivered by a credible messenger outperforms that same message delivered by somebody that isn't seen as being as trustworthy. And that is very powerful to think about. Two people saying the same thing and having a very different impact. And at the very top of the list of what people are still saying that they trust, well, look at this: scientists, farmers, doctors, and firefighters. And what doesn't work is politicians saying that same thing. So how can we take that out of the lens of a political frame and put it in other places and bring in the voices of people in your community that do any of these other roles. That's really what this is about. And it's not just saying like, oh, you have to be a scientist to be trusted. It's thinking about how you can bring in somebody that you may know in your local community that has one of these roles, a medical professional, emergency responder, a farmer, somebody that's connected to the land. How can you bring in their perspective or their experiences into what you talk about? All right, so with that, I would like to just invite us back to our small group partners for another 5 minutes. And then we'll do a skill share back with a larger group. We've got 10 minutes left before we go to Paul for our last part of today's workshop. So for 5 minutes, think about how you might apply what we've just talked about in your conversations. You can pick 1, 2, whatever you want, but start thinking about what we've just talked about and how it can show up in your work. And I'll look forward to hearing a couple of examples when we regroup. 5 minutes on the clock now. Oh, you can. It's hard not to be kind of a little bit like it's even for me, it's a little bit wandering away from yeah. Yes. Let's wrap up in the next 30 seconds or so. Yeah. I love how many good conversations are happening. I don't want to keep going after the session. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Hear me, clap time. All right, thank you, everyone. I know that we'll have a break after this, so keep that conversation going. It is actually just really riveting from the facilitation standpoint to see how much conversation is taking off. Let's open it up for any questions or things, especially that you and your small group would like to share to the larger group, whether it's talking about impacts and keeping it local, or what else you found to be effective from especially our regional frame. Would love to hear thoughts. Please.
The question about keeping it local is, it can seem like you might be focusing on something that's a weather blip rather than climate change. We had a lot of flooding this spring, but that's not totally unusual, you know, so. Any suggestions, I mean, and on the other hand, I can say over the last 5 years, I've seen patterns of, on all the big factory farm cornfields. They're flooded in the spring and the dust is blowing in the fall. I mean, there are these cycles that are starting to develop of flooding and drought, you know. So how do you say something's climate change and not a weather?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, we definitely look forward to hearing other people's thoughts on this too, but I think that goes back to the don't exaggerate principle too. You don't have to claim everything is only driven by climate change. It's induced or it's made, you know, further exacerbated or worsened or intensified or whatever word you want to use to describe kind of making it more extreme or seeing it happen more frequently or more intensely. And I think that's fine to acknowledge that there's obviously right now, you know, underlying other patterns that are also happening. So I would just say, don't oversell it. And, you know, even what you just shared, some of those examples are very powerful and compelling, and have it happening in your own local community is key.
Remember when it used to be rare, and now how often are we hearing about these natural disasters?
Yeah.
I see your hand, and then we'll go back there.
Well, I had a quick, but I want to respond.
Please.
The ISU has a database of local weather readings that go back over 100 years for most places. So you can actually, I mean, it's only a 35,000 row spreadsheet. So so you can actually look at that. But the point I wanted to make, and I've got the spreadsheets if anybody wants them, is you said use pollution, not climate change. But to me, and to a lot of people, pollution means dirty streams, dirty lakes, which honestly has nothing to do with climate change.
Yeah, being clear, that's debatable. Being clear about being carbon pollution and not having it be kind of this other implication that is bound up with, you know, as our country has cleaned up our air and our water, we still haven't solved our skies, you know, or like finding other ways of talking about some pollution sources have been addressed. But at the end of the day, climate change is driven by our pollution, and that kind of pollution is from the dirty energy sources we use. However, we want to, I see a lot of hands here. Feel free to stack in, Jeff, Rob, and then I know.
Rising in property insurance costs.
Sure, yeah.
our group talked about keeping a local both problems and solutions, and the problems were White Bear Lake doesn't freeze over, so you can't drive your truck out on it anymore. And we smelled wildfire smoke and had to cancel our local concerts in 2023. And homeowners insurance is going up, and the Minnesota River floods. And Amy, it is water. This, stick with me just a minute on this. Water is climate related for 3 reasons. We talked about this in our group. Number one, elevated carbon levels fuel more algae growth and more nutrient growth in the waters, number one. Number two, the waters are warmer, which also fuels more growth. Number three, when you have big deluges, you get more runoff into water situations. So there is a relationship there. I understand it's not as direct as.
Yeah,
as
said it wasn't
I
really.
know, I know, I just wanna, we need to, you know, it's one of those things where we can't apologize for the connections that are there. And there are, so somebody else might say that's exaggerating, but if it's not exaggerating, we also gotta say it's accurate. So,
I love it,
sure
just
that-
having practice.
On the solution side, my church went 100% solar this year, and we're in the first month and a half, we paid $1,300 in our electric bill.
Okay. Those are great examples too. I saw your hand and then Tony, we'll close with both of you.
Yeah, covered it, just, even though it's not maybe right local, but you're feeling these effects coming. Our insurance, you know, they changed how they're gonna cover hail on the roof this year, so I don't.
I love that personal example. Thank you. Yeah, Tony, go for it.
So I sometimes sense that people are feeling like you're trying to trick me, you know, by getting me into this conversation and you're going to embarrass me or you're, you know, cause me, you know, some kind of pain. You know, what's the kind of prescription for that kind of person?
I
Repeat the question for people.
Yeah, so the question is, if you're in a situation or you are observing that sometimes people can feel like they're almost being tricked into having a conversation, or that you're trying to lead them to maybe having a gotcha moment, or, you know, being goaded into like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm really gonna engage on this, because I don't know if you and I see the eye to eye. Is that kind of the scenario?
Yeah, it's Republican.
Yeah.
You know, that have pretty set in their mind, but that's who we need to have conversations.
Well, in my mind, and this is acknowledged in the potential energy talking, that's really what the whole point of these first three frames or principles are trying to get at. They're trying to get at how you can build trust. So you're stripping away your partisanship. You're not gonna bring in your political affiliation. You're not gonna sound over exaggerated. You're gonna say, you know, here and now, this is my experience. You know, I can't account for anything else, but here's what I see, witness, or am concerned about. And you're also being accessible. So you're feeling like you're talking on a level playing field. You're not using advanced terminology. And I would say, again, every conversation is different. You're not gonna be able to have success or build that rapport and trust immediately, even if you follow these to a T with every person. But I think that's really the intent of what they're trying to get at, to set you up at least for a greater chance of success. And I see other hands, but I'm also just mindful of time. So I'm gonna stay up here afterwards. We do have 5 minutes left for the end of this session. If you want to afterwards, I'm also happy to talk about how we've applied this to electrification, because we actually just had a whole campaign on that. But what I'd like to do is just close my part before passing it to Paul to share. It's a really simple short link. If you want to check it out even right now on your phone, it's just cclusa.org/conversations. So all of these resources that we talked about today, as well as a way for you to log your conversations, even if you're not part of CCL community yet, that's all there on that one-stop page. And we also, you know, have our action tracker set up now to capture those conversations. But just know that I hope that we've highlighted in this hour past that we've had together, that every conversation that you have the opportunity to have does matter. We're so grateful for you kind of trying out a few of these new frames. I was just talking to Mindy while we were in small groups, you know, for me, even though I've given this talk a lot, it still feels a little bit uncomfortable. It's just like, but I like talking about climate change a certain way. Don't push me. Like, come on, potential. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm the expert here. So I just acknowledge that some of this is intentional with maybe what we're already used to today, so thanks for going out of your comfort zone. And feel free to reach out with anything afterwards as well. So Paul, I'll pass the baton to you here. Thanks. Bear with us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Hi. How's everybody doing? Good. I'm gonna stand in front of the table because I'm closer to you and you're my friends. So if you're under 30, stand up. Stay standing. Because the rest of these questions might not quite appeal to you yet. If you have solar on your home, stand up. Whoa. If you subscribe to community solar and you pay for solar with credit, stand up. If stay standing, this is your break too. If you drove an electric vehicle or a hybrid vehicle or a high mileage vehicle, stand up. Good. We don't have everybody yet. If you have been published in a newspaper, magazine, anything talking about these issues in the last year, stand up. And if you've organized a conference. And it's, all right, if you're not standing up, stand up, everybody stretch. Take out your phone and sit down. So when I left being a regional coordinator, which we were there, now Mindy's a director, so she gave me the title of special operations. And I kind of like that because I get to take a lot of pictures. I get to tell people what to do, I get to make announcements. And, you know, as a second grade teacher, you got to be good at that. You know, you get attention that way.
And for anyone who doesn't know, we're married.
Yeah, Mindy's my wife. I got married at 70. And I am 76, and that will come in importantly in a little while. So just remember that number, 76. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. Mindy said, would you please do the fundraising pitch? Because I think money is energy. And some people have a lot, some people have a little. How many of you contribute to CCL on some level financially? Hands down. Thank you for doing that. CCL is worth it. I mean, shout out, what's great about CCL? Affirmation. Action. Knowledge. Good people. Oh my gosh. Confidence. Positive. All these things. And they also are confronting and it's embarrassing sometimes. Wow. Am I a leader? Do I have to actually stand up and talk to people? Not many people like to do that. How many hate phone banking? Oh, yeah. How many love postcarding? Postcarding has been the greatest thing ever for getting people involved. So I just want to do a real quick history check. Who's this gentleman? That's Marshall. So Marshall and I were involved with results from 1982, 10 years before CCL started. This book was written by Marshall and my mentor, Sam Daly Harris. It's one of the books that will be available if you got your name in the basket tonight. So Marshall is an inspirational source. The other week, I met another inspirational source. Who's that? Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson. She just wrote the book, What If We Get It Right? And, you know, I got to read you a few of her quotes because I was there at the breakfast. Mindy and Brett were online. She said, the one that sticks the most is, it's okay if you're not hopeful, just be useful. And then she said, how swiftly and justly can we implement these solutions? So we have to do it quickly, but we have to do it fairly also. And that brings in CCL's work with inclusion, with working with conservatives, with having a big tent. She said, we just need to lead. You know, we all need to be leaders, even if we're uncomfortable. And then the one that she says, I find joy in changing the rules of the game. So and then she said, is it possible to love our future? The future that we're creating. And how do we make magic in the real world? We can't do that by ourselves. We can only do it together. So, you know, it's been a long time doing this work, and I find that I see so much more, and I know that what I'm leaving behind me is what's important. What kind of legacy are each of us leaving for these younger people here, and for our kids and our grandkids, and for Shonix and Quest? So getting to know people and knowing the relationships and the connections is really important. So CCL asks people to contribute financially. I thought, as a family, we could do something today that would show the North Wind region. You know, get a lot of attention on the East Coast, a lot of attention on the West Coast. Let's show some love in the middle. So here's my idea. Take out your phone. Next slide, please. Open up the link on the left. I'm seeing quite a few phones out there. You can do this later at your own, but you know what? If you do it later, you probably won't. So when you get there, my thought is, yes, we want people to be monthly sponsors. Yes, we want people, if you can, make big donations and become an angel donor. But right now, let's see if we can get everyone to donate $7.60 to CCL. CCL will get all these $7.60 things and say, what the heck's going on from all these people? 76. Oh, remember I said, remember how old I am? So this is all about me. So I want you to open up the link, go to the one-time donation, unless you want to make $7.60 every month. Should be kind of cool.
Put a decimal point in it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You're kidding. All right, you get to choose 7 or 8. You know, always round up.
Yes.
Always round up, because it's going to a good cause. And is there a comment place where you can say?
Memory of.
Then you put down, well. No, in memory of, that will be in like 35 years. Just put down North Wind Regional Conference 2024.
Are we rounding up your age then too?
Soon that will happen all by itself. So do you like the idea?
Yes.
It's not kind of clever. I'll do it. Everybody, and I'll probably, no, I won't do a $7. I'll do it online. I should do it right now.
Let's do, Bob.
Thompson, THOMPSON. And then if you want to say something about what you've learned at this conference that you're taking home to Kansas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Iowa, Minnesota, and next year, Missouri will join us.
Oh,
Because we got to get some.
mine was in a loop of route back to.
We're having it in Kansas City, Missouri next year.
Yeah, is it working? How many have made it? How many have been successful?
I
One.
didn't get to make it in your name, I don't think.
You don't have to.
I just put North Wind region.
So the bigger thing, can you listen while, can you listen while I'm talking and do that? I don't want to interrupt this. Because in the old days, you had a piece of paper and you had a checkbook. And there was this silent motion. I really liked it. And then he said, we don't have forms like that anymore. So we have to kind of be friends with this thing. But we took the time to fill out the thing, to think about the amount that really reflects you. And of course, I want you to do an amount that reflects what CCL means for you. And I really want you to do it on a monthly basis, because sustainable contributions are what can be counted on to boost the budget at 5.7 million. I'd like Brian to stand up and come forward, Mindy, Brett, and Rick. stand up. You're actually paying the salaries for these incredible people. So. Demonstrating, making it personal. These are our people. And you are the person that inspires your people to contribute. So the next thing to do, I like you guys are all trying to do this, you're learning your phone, is to send a text to your friend, family member, and just say, I would like, and send them the link, you know, would you be willing to be reasonable? You say $10, don't say $7.60. You know, to this organization that has changed my life, because it's going to continue to change lives. Because we say so, and we have to follow that with our actions.